It's about empowerment, education, and entertainment. Fantastic Radio UK, the home of possibilities.
Happiness is what I feel. This is what I've got to reveal. I'll be a friend to the end like Chucky. You understand? Reaching on to the love of my life. Everlasting. See ya. You're the rose in my garden, pretty little flower. Garden angel, fairy godmother. A friend to the end, and also another. One and only, you don't need another. You're my heat in the winter, breeze in my summer.
From a small village, orphaned at 14, he rose to the pinnacle of military politics in Africa's most populous country.
We do not intend to rule by force.
Badamasi is the controversial story of how fate pitted him against his people.
You have messed up.
The Nollywood Factory and Everett Film invite you to see the film they didn't want you to see.
No, the June 12th presidential election.
Badamasi, with the red carpet premiere on Saturday, June 12th at the O2 Cineworld, Greenwich, from 6 p.m. Tickets on eventbrite.com.
Come in.
Right.
Mr. Pilkington, and how are we today?
Yeah, I'm all right, Doctor. Yeah, I've just come for my checkup.
Okay, then pop your pants off.
What?
Just pop your pants off.
Oh, I forgot to take my pants off.
Well, because I have to pop my finger up your
what?
to check your prostate gland.
Don't worry about it.
Well, I am worried about it because prostate cancer kills 10,000 men every year in Britain.
You can check that out if I get any symptoms.
Well, there aren't always symptoms, and symptoms do vary from man to man. So the best way to check it out, so I just pop my finger up there
I'm really
and have a feel.
Just
don't worry about it.
Is that it?
Yeah.
It's not that bad.
No.
I don't know why he was worried. You probably saved his life there.
Does he have to be here?
He's just a mate. Don't worry about him. He's just watching me at work.
For more information, visit the Prostate Cancer Charity website. Real men know all about it.
Ode to Boobs by Pip Bishop. Dear Boobs, this heartfelt apology goes out to you all for moaning you're too big or moaning you're too small, for wishing you didn't hang like puppies in sacks or just disappear when we lie on our backs, for squashing you flat with a minimising cut or those torture bras that push you right up. Why is it always your bad points we mention? Like your inverted nips or your water retention? Why don't we love you as much as our men or the babies that love you all over again? Maybe we're scared to show you we care, in case one day you're simply not there. Make it up to your boobs with some breakthrough breast cancer TLC. Touch, look and check. To find out more during Breast Cancer Awareness Month, visit breakthrough.org.uk. Ode to Boobs by Pip Bishop. Dear Boobs, this heartfelt apology goes out to you all for moaning you're too big or moaning you're too small, for wishing you didn't hang like puppies in sacks or just disappear when we lie on our backs, for squashing you flat with a minimising cut or those torture bras that push you right up. Why is it always your bad points we mention? Like your inverted nips or your water retention? Why Why don't we love you as much as our men? Or the babies that love you all over again? Maybe we're scared to show you we care. In case, one day, you're simply not there. Make it up to your boobs with some breakthrough breast cancer TLC. Touch, look and check. To find out more during Breast Cancer Awareness Month, visit breakthrough.org.uk.
From a small village, orphaned at 14, he rose to the pinnacle of military politics in Africa's most populous country.
We do not intend to rule by force.
Badamasi is the controversial story of how fate pitted him against his people.
You have messed up.
The Nollywood Factory and Everett Film invite you to see the film they didn't want you to see.
The June 12th presidential election.
Badamasi, with the red carpet premiere on Saturday, June 12th at the O2 Cineworld, Greenwich, from 6 p.m. Tickets on eventbrite.com.
Come in.
Right.
Ah, Mr. Pilkington, and how are we today?
Yeah, I'm all right, Doctor. Yeah, I've just come for my checkup.
Okay, then. Pop your pants off.
What?
Just pop your pants off.
Oh,
And,
I forgot to take my pants off.
well, because I have to pop my finger up your
What with me what?
to check your prostate gland.
Don't worry about it.
Well, I am worried about it because prostate cancer kills 10,000 men every year in Britain.
You can check that out if I get any symptoms.
Well, there aren't always symptoms, and symptoms do vary from man to man. So the best way to check it out is I just pop my finger up there
I'm really not
and have a
happy with this.
feel.
Just
Don't worry about it.
Is that it?
Yeah.
It's not that bad.
I don't know why he was worried. You probably saved his life there.
Does he have to be here?
He's just a mate. Don't worry about him. He's just watching me at work.
For more information, visit the Prostate Cancer Charity website. Real men know all about it.
That's right, baby. I want all y'all to walk on over to the bridge with me. Because I'm going to take you to the water and make you drink. Water, baby. Because the funk show will make it stink. Say what? Yeah. If you let the funk hit your eye, we're going to turn you to a spot.
Simone and Kojo on Fantastic Mornings, 7 to 8 a.m. Join the conversation on air at fantasticradio.co.uk.
Hi, ladies and gentlemen, good morning. There's something called technical hitch. There's something called ups and downs of live radio. There's something called gremlins in the corner. That is what happened. Good morning to you, Miss Simone Uncle. How are you?
I'm fine. What happened to the gremlins? Did you feed them last night?
You know what? This morning I logged in, did all the necessary stuff. I have a sneaky feeling I went into a different room and logged in differently. So I am talking and chatting away, and I'm not getting no response. And I had you call me, checking, finding out what's going on. Are you coming on? What's going on? And I'm thinking, okay. Then Sina contacted me and said, where are you? And I'm thinking, I'm in there. And he said, no, I can't see you. And you can see me now, can't you?
Thank goodness. Yeah, we can see you.
I can see you.
Good morning. Finally, good morning.
Good morning to you. How are you?
I'm good.
Oh, yes. God. Some way, somehow, I felt, what is going on? What is going on? Anyway, it's Monday, the 21st of May, 2021. The 21st of May, 2021. I am Kojo Bonti Amwako. And who do I have on there?
I am Simone Ankle.
You and Simone, Uncle. Good morning. Our special guest today is Janice B. Gordon, who is already and set to be joining us at some point. We will be tracking her on social media, talking to her about, her book and everything to do with the business she does and how businesses can benefit from her. Let's go get some music, cool off, get something to drink, and let's come back and get the conversation going. Good morning to you, ladies and gentlemen.
Simone and Kojo on Fantastic Mornings, 7 to 8 a.m. Join the conversation at fantasticradio.co.uk.
Happiness is what I feel. This is what I've got to reveal. I'll be a friend to the end like Chucky. You understand? Reaching out to the love of my life. Everlasting. See ya. You're the rose in my garden, pretty little flower. Garden angel, fairy godmother. A friend to the end, and also another.
From a small village, orphaned at 14, he rose to the pinnacle of military politics in Africa's most populous country.
We do not intend to rule by force.
Badamasi is the controversial story of how fate pitted him against his people.
You have messed up.
The Nollywood Factory and Everett Film invite you to see the film they didn't want you to see.
And the June 12th presidential election.
Badamasi, with the red carpet premiere on Saturday, June 12th at the O2 Cineworld, Greenwich, from 6 p.m. Tickets on eventbrite.com.
That event is coming on in June, and at some point, I will get the producer and the promotion team coming through for a conversation at some point. But Wonderful. It's about the ex-Nigerian president. They've done a whole documentary film about him, and it'll be good. It'll be good to watch it. Tickets are at the moment being sold, and the gentleman was talking to me 2 days ago. So at some point, he will come through and have a conversation with us before they do the event in O2 in Greenwich.
Yeah. So this is Everett Films. Is that right?
Everett Films. That's right. Everett Films.
Good.
Yes. Everett Films. Everett Films is doing that. They're promoting the Babangida film across, because what Everett Films does, they promote more Afrocentric films from the Caribbean.
And documentary themed as well.
That's correct.
Wonderful.
Yes.
So it's educational in itself, rather than just entertainment.
Very much so. Very much so. Very much so. You have something for me today?
I've got my coffee. I'm fine. I'm sorted.
How was your weekend? Man?
It flew by, which is strange, really, because we're sort of still in semi-lockdown, can't make full plans. But yeah, a weekend came and went. And of course, I suppose the weather kind of dictated some activities, whether you do them or not. But I did venture out yesterday in the storm, got soaked, but I didn't care by then. So I just needed to find, discover some of the day rather than hide indoors. So I did go out. But anyway, speaking of coffee,
quite windy, wasn't it?
Definitely windy, almost lost my umbrella, all of that, all those little dramas. But this is just life in London. We've got to expect rain, So
I like
that. Friends in Canada yesterday, and they've got blazing hot weather, So she's enjoying the weather with her kids and her husband. And I'm like, no, we've got rain here. You're not missing anything in London. So,
Did you say you're having your coffee?
I'm having my coffee, yes. So speaking of which, I do have something for you, as you asked. I was just going to do. Go on, go for it. I'm going to quote. All right then. Okay, here we go. So coffee never knew it will taste nice and sweet before it met sugar and milk. We are good as individuals, but become better when we blend with the right people. The world is full of nice people. If you can't find one, be one.
If you can't find one, make sure you be one. I love that. I love that. I love that. I love that. My quote today is become what you've always wanted to become and become what you want other people to be for you. If you want to be nasty and you get nasty with other people, you sort of reflect that, you mirror that, and you set yourself up for it.
But you attract it.
I like that. That. You treat people well, and you put value on people, and you cherish relationships, and you you put value on relationships and you cherish it. Then again, we'll mirror that same thing back. So I am of that same ilk, and I sent to drive to that. But can you please read your quote again for us?
Oh, okay. All right. It's a coffee analogy. That's not the title. I just made that bit up. I don't have a title for it. And we don't know the author either, unfortunately.
Okay.
I'd like to give them credit. But anyway, this is how it goes. Coffee never knew it will taste nice and sweet before it met sugar and milk. We are good as individuals, but become better when we blend with the right people.
Right.
The world is full of nice people. If you can't find one, be one.
If you can't find one, be one. We'll be talking to our guest, the CEO of Scale Your Sales, an international keynote speaker, visiting fellow of the Cranfield School of Management. She's got channels on YouTube, and she's an accredited Sunday Times, Forbes, Grant Canton, and she's been on all these platforms, and she'll be speaking to us the 4 P's in her book called The Business Evolution. So Janice B. Golding at some point will be joining us today, and will be sharing with us her 4 P's. I have not fully read the book. I have not. I have read bits and pieces around it, and I have had people who've read it and spoken a great deal about it. And I have watched her on YouTube. I have listened to some of her stuff on YouTube. And I have a lot of questions running through my thoughts that I would love to share with her. What have you got about Janice for us?
Janice, okay. I mean, I think, she's very pertinent to the present time, of course, Yeah. We've had the lockdowns, we've had unpredictable lays and changes to our lifestyle and our culture's environment. So she actually helps people and businesses transition and develop and grow their customer base. And it might sound quite novel, but she's actually got a very unique way of approaching this. And to her credit, she's actually, of all of the customers and the accreditations that she received, like you mentioned, the Sunday Times, Forbes, Sage, Grant Thornton, BBC, and many more have accredited her skill for improving business and growing business. And she actually has under her belt or credits is she's been ranked as number 25 of the top 100 global business influencers, and that was in 2017. And also she helped scale the revenue of a business by 6 million within 9 months.
Yes, I saw that.
I thought, wow, okay, that's amazing. To really have that as accredited to your name, your business, your approach to teaching and all of those things. Yeah, so she's an educator as well as a lecturer and a consultant. So she's got many, bows to her string.
I'm looking forward to spending the next 20 minutes with her. She's sharing and helping us to understand several things and how businesses can also access the services. I've listened to her quite a lot and love the work. And I really, really, really admire her work. We're going to go in there, come back. But before we go, have you got any community diary, anything for us?
Yeah.
You got something for us?
Yeah, I've got a couple of things. Right. So last week, of course, we're in semi-lockdown, as I said. So last week, 2 major venues opened their doors back to the public. So we have the Black Cultural Archives in Brixton. Okay. Doors are open from last Thursday, I believe. And this company was founded in 1981 by educationalist and historian Len Garrison and others. The BCA, also known as Black Cultural Archives, its mission is to record, preserve and celebrate the history of people of African descent in Brixton. In Britain, sorry. So it's much broader than that.
Did you say Brixton?
Yeah, it's not just Brixtonians. It's it's for all blacks represented.
That's right. Carry on.
You get tongue-tied.
All right, then.
It's my turn now. So
I hear you.
I know I'll get tongue-tied today now. So anyway,
I know. Let's go.
They're open again. The one thing is they're open again. I love that space. You go in, you've got an exhibition space, you've got a coffee shop, you've got downstairs basement for hire, you've got a bookstore. So it looks quite kind of small, but you've got so much contained in there. There's a font of knowledge, and the staff are lovely, so very welcoming, worth going in and taking a look for yourselves. They've also got an exhibition now called for the Sickle Cell exhibition, and that's open to the public viewing as well. And it's called Our Journey, Our Story, History and Memory of Sickle Cell Anemia in Britain, 1950 to 2000. I think many of us know, but some of us don't. So anemia is a deficiency in a number of quality red blood cells in our bodies. Red blood cells carry oxygen around the body using a particular protein called hemoglobin. Now, the thing with that, of course, if your blood cells are sickle, as in they're oval rather than circular, then what we find is, people will encounter crises because the blood can't flow through. And of course, they're in a really chronic pain by that time, and sometimes worse symptoms than that. Anyway, so it's to educate us a bit more about that. So it's an exhibition on sickle cell, and that's taking place also at the Black Cultural Archives. My other venue, which is a place that
Can you please pause with the other venue? Let's keep that other venue. Let's keep that other venue.
Time. Okay, we'll do it.
Let's keep the other venue. 21 minutes past 7. Janice B. Gordon is on the other side of the radio. We're going for music. Soon as we're coming, our special guest, Janice B. Gordon, joins us, shares with us every story. Let's go, Mr. Hamidi. And we'll come back, and it's Janice B. Gordon, our special guest this morning. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen.
Simone and Kojo on Fantastic Mornings, 7 to 8 a.m. Join the conversation on air at fantasticradio.co.uk.
From a small village, orphaned at 14, he rose to the pinnacle of military politics in Africa's most populous country.
We do not intend to rule by force.
Badamasi is the controversial story of how fate pitted him against his people.
You have messed up.
The Nollywood Factory and Everett Film invite you to see the film they didn't want you to see.
The June 12th presidential election.
Badamasi, with the red carpet premiere on Saturday, June 12th at the O2 Cineworld, Greenwich, from 6 p.m. Tickets on eventbrite.com.
Good morning to you, ladies and gentlemen. Janice works with CEOs, sales leaders, and teams, helping them to overcome. I love that word, overcome retention challenges and grow profitable partnerships to consistently boost key customer outcomes and revenue results. Janice B. Gordon delivers world-class virtual or live keynotes, sales kickoffs, masterclass, workshops, presentations, and consultancies. Many engagement that starts with a focus client presentation on keynotes, and then she consults and adds value. What I like about this note is, even after only 9 months of working with her global clients, she increased them into the excess of 6 million. And this is very tangible, and I love that. Can we have Janice B. Gordon join us this morning? Good morning to you, Janice.
Morning.
Good morning, Janice.
How are you, Janice?
Very well. I've just been to the gym and I'm ready to go.
Well done for getting out so early. Well done.
How have you been?
Very well.
The corona and everything with business, how have you been with it, managing it with clients and everything to do with yourself and everything? Talk to us about that. How have you been with corona and business?
Well, after the initial shock, I had lots of speaking engagements booked in, and I remember on the Friday, literally email after email, postpone, cancel, postpone. So I was in shock for about a week. And then I thought, okay, those 2 manuscripts that have been sitting, waiting for me to finish, I'm going to finish those books.
Right.
Then lots of other client inquiries came in. I've been busier than ever. I haven't touched the 2 manuscripts. So yes, I'm doing a lot of work with Cranfield's clients, helping managers into leaders and helping them grow their organizations. And I'm working for quite a few companies that I didn't work with prior to COVID. So for me, it's been really good. This weekend, I worked all weekend. I am tired. I need a holiday, honestly. Yeah. So, but you've got to get it while you can. And I feel really lucky and privileged, because not every business owner is in that situation. I think you've either gone where it's been busier, or you've gone where, you know, there's all of the challenges. So I think you're either in one or the other camp. So I'm really, really grateful that I'm in the camp where I'm so busy.
You talked about being grateful and being thankful. Getting to know you, Janice, where does that trait of gratefulness and thankfulness come from?
I've always been a glass half full type of person. I've always seen my sister speaks to me. She gets sick of me because I always spin things, refocus and reframe. That's the word. Reframe things into positives, and that's just my personality. And you know, and I must say, it's not always like that. You know, things happen. My brother died, and literally for about 3 years, I wasn't myself, and I couldn't think positively. So I don't want anyone to think that, you know, I'm kind of a Tigger and everything's positive. It's not. You know, I go through ups and downs, but my general personality is glass half full.
Okay. How do you help advise other people to keep up the pace of change? Because as you know for yourself and everyone else, you know, we've all identified key changes in the past year in our lives and culture, work, you know, relationships, all of those things. So how do we, you know, positively try and keep up with the pace?
Do you know, it's about your attitude. That's, you know, your mindset and your attitude. That really is the starting point. If you think, I don't know everything and I will never know everything, but I've got the attitude of being a lifelong learner. Sometimes you can get really caught up with all of these changes that you actually then do nothing. You know, you think, well, I'm never going to catch up, so I'm not going to do anything. But actually, you've got to think, if you're really focused on what your purpose is, what your goal is, and then really understand that, you know, you'll never know everything, but you're going to do the best you can. I'm a kind of good enough type person. I'm not about perfection. You know, you've got to keep it rolling, keep it moving. So you've really got to have the attitude that I'm always going to be learning something new, and I'm okay with that. I'm not going to be perfect. There isn't perfection, but I'm always going to be pushing forward in order to achieve my goal, which is a moving target. Things are changing, customers change, market change, economy changes. That's okay. I can't control those things. But what I can control is my mindset and my attitude to what I'm doing.
Wonderful. Is that where your 4 Ps come in, which you mentioned in your book? You've got personality, purpose, pleasure, and process. Are these some of the tools that you would engage in order to, you know, apply to key changes in life?
Do you know, these essential Ps came about because I was in a business. I had 20 employees. It was a restaurant and bar, and it was a startup, and I grew it. And, you know, with all of the challenges, because this was 2006, so you can imagine 2008 happened. But we, you know, we overcome a lot of the challenges, and we will continue to grow, even though more established businesses were going out of business. And there was certain tools that I used. One was embracing email marketing and Facebook at the time. So a lot of established businesses This is what I was saying about learning all the time. Didn't have those tools, didn't use those tools traditionally. So I was new to the market and I was accessing those things. Not only that, prior to that, I worked with customer experience. I really understood that your customers, you've got to keep them close. So I had this core group, and every business needs to do this. I had this core group of people that I would ring up when we've got an event on, and then they would galvanize their core group of people. So, you know, with all of these experiences, when I came out of that business, I thought, well, what was it that kept us going through all of those challenges? What were the unique things? And this is where the essential 4 Ps came in. What I understood was, even though I had employees, people wanted to see me. They wanted to understand me. They wanted to see me at the forefront. So it's really difficult when you're in business because you're pulled from pillar to post. But nevertheless, it's really important for the customers and stakeholders to see you. So what is your personality? What values do you bring to the business? And so a lot of business owners are shy to bring themselves forward. You cannot do that.
No hiding.
Yeah, you cannot hide behind your logo. You've got to bring yourself forward and tell people about your personality. They want to know, you know, what your stances are in the world. They want to feel that they know you, the personality behind the business. So that's where personality came. And then purpose is really about, you know, what are your values and your goals? What are the things that people can identify with? And so you've got to portray those as well. Pleasure is about the customer experience, understanding your customers, speaking their language, giving them what they want and need. And process is about how you can consistently deliver what your customers want and need. Now, your customers are going to be attracted to your personality and purpose, but nevertheless, you have to provide them with, you know, the values, the valued service that they want, and that's pleasure and process.
Something you touched upon there was also your network, which is wonderful. Like you said, you galvanized through your email database and Facebook. Like you said, it wasn't used as much as in the past, back in 2006 anyway. But yeah, so being able to reach out to your network, and those in turn would actually, through word of mouth, promote you or you know, connect you with others. That's wonderful to actually have a great network like that and establish it. But of course, you built that from scratch through your personality, of course. People got to know you and were able to endorse you to others that way.
Everybody, even if you're working for a company, you have a tribe. You have a tribe of people that love you and love what you do, love your humor, your character. So it's really about understanding what are your core values. Right. So in the book, I have lots of exercises that people can go through, business evolution, and that will help them to draw out your core values. And the reason why this is important, these are your non-negotiables. This is almost like your compass in the world. And you think, well, this is business. Why is that important? It's because you need to have something that is non-negotiable about you, that other people can clearly understand and see. When that happens, they think, this person's just like me. They're not actually loving you for you. They're loving you because you're like them. But how do they know you're like them unless you actually understand what you're really like? What are your non-negotiables? What are your core values? So that's really why personality and really having a stance and understanding what that is and using your core values are really important, because it magnetizes your personality for people to raise their hand and say, I really like this person. I'm going to follow this person.
Janice, you know, whilst you're talking about personality, I would love to go into purpose and sort of have you share more light on it. But you made a comment, and I love what you said. One cannot hide any longer. One cannot hide behind the logo. You can't hide and say, well, you know, and hide. And you got to step up and make it happen. I want you to help us to understand something. Where does this sense of wanting to hide come from? Has it got to do with entrepreneurs' self-discovery? Is it fear of the unknown? Talk to us about where the fear or where the not wanting to be on the forefront, this thing where you want to be in the hiding, where does it come from?
Traditionally in businesses, if you think about 10, 20 years ago, we didn't know whether a large or small businesses, we didn't know who the CEO was of the businesses, because we knew about brands, and if we go back to the 60s and 50s, the kind of like the washing powder adverts, we didn't even know whether it was Unilever, what companies owned these brands. So that kind of business anonymousness was what business was all about. So when we're thinking, many of us grow up and learn business from being in a business. So we think we know what growing a business is all about, but we only see a small piece of the pie. So our impression of traditional businesses is often corporates. So then when we then decide that we're going to set up our own business, we still have this kind of corporate mentality. So, we have the logo, we invest all of this money on things that really don't matter so much for smaller businesses. So there's that. Then often just people are shy. They're not used to standing up on stage and, speaking and promoting themselves. In America, they have the debating society. So people are all too willing to actually get up and defend their case. In the UK, we don't tend to do that. And it's part of our personality, our shyness. We're not self-promoters. So, but you have to learn these things, really.
You going into purpose. I love you to sort of spread it out for our listeners. The person is in business. I'm talking the person is in business, a startup, and they really want to find that notch where their purposes are, how they want to find what they are doing, because purpose sort of keeps changing or moving as you move. As the company grows, there are things that sort of jigs and moves, and you got to work around it. How do you work with your clients, and how do you help your clients to find their purpose or repurpose their services?
Okay, so there's different definitions of purpose, and one of mine is, what can you do that no one else can do in the way you do it?
Can you say that again? Nah.
What can you do that no one else can do in the way you do it? And it's about your uniqueness. So there is purpose in terms of, your goals, your missions and all of that. But there's actually, it's not so much what you do, but how and why you do it. What is the driving force behind what you do? Because when we're thinking about products and services, nothing's new. It's all been done before. Nothing really is unique. But what is unique is, how you deliver it. So let me give you an example. If you were going for a massage, right? Okay. Kojo, you're going for a massage and you like a relaxing massage. You don't want to fall to sleep. Now, me, I want someone to put their elbow in and find those knots, right? So if I went to your masseur that was all very strokey and nice and relaxing, I would come out and I would complain. Now, it doesn't mean they're not qualified, but it's not what I want and it's not what I need. Now, if you went to my masseur, you would be screaming and crying, wouldn't you? And you'd be saying, what is this? This person's killing me. So what you do in the way you do it, that's uniquely different. So there is going to be two types of masseur. There's one that's going to believe in the soft, relaxing. There's one going to believe in, I need to find those knots, and gets really great joy of exerting pain and, finding and kneading out those knots. So in the way that you do it, it means they're going to really relish the masseur when they find the way that they do it and what they love to do. But you need to tell your customers, this is the way I do it. And the reason why I do it this way, because I think it's really good for you. And I want kind of, whatever it may be. So that it means when you're really clear about what the way you do it and why you do it the way you do it, customers can identify that this is what I want. And you won't have as many complaints. So you've really got to identify what you can do that no one else can do in the way that you do it, and why. why that's important to you. So I can then self-select, this is exactly what I want. I've been looking for you all my life. Then you're going to have the perfect match. So that's why you need to, identify your why. But also, it helps you to understand what business you're in. What is unique, your unique view, your unique offer for the world. Some people will be attracted to your unique offers, others will not. And that's brilliant. That is brilliant.
We're talking to Janice B. Gordon, business coach, speaker, everything to do with business. I tell you something somebody wrote. He said, this is a well-written, practical and humane approach to growing business, full of practical advice and exercises, as well as thought-provoking stories and examples. The 4 Ps, personality, purpose, pleasure, and process, is one for a good person in business. I would encourage one to go get. And this is what the person said. Janice B. Gordon is at her best when she's giving examples of transformational businesses, those with relationships with their customers at heart. If your aim is profitability and adding value, this book is for you. Now, Janice, we're going to go for a music, right? When we come back, I would love you to go into the pleasure and break down the pleasure. We will seg our way into the process. For those who want to get in touch with Janice, you could go to janicebgordon.com, and the book we're talking about is called Business Evolution, Creating Growth in the Rapidly Changing World. Mr. Hamidi, let's go for music. Soon as we come back, Janice goes into pleasure and other things to do with process. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen.
Simone and Kojo on Fantastic Mornings, 7 to 8 a.m. Join the conversation on air at fantasticradio.co.uk.
Ode to Boobs by Pip Bishop. Dear Boobs, this heartfelt apology goes out to you all for moaning you're too big or moaning you're too small, for wishing you didn't hang like puppies in sacks or just disappear when we lie on our backs, for squashing you flat with a minimizing cup or those torture bras that push you right up. Why is it always your bad points we mention? Like your inverted nips or your water retention? Why don't we love you as much as our men, or the babies that love you all over again? Maybe we're scared to show you we care, in case one day you're simply not there. Make it up to your boobs with some breakthrough breast cancer TLC. Touch, look and check. To find out more during Breast Cancer Awareness Month, visit breakthrough.org.uk.
Ladies and gentlemen, you're welcome back. It's 43 minutes past 7 on the Fantastic Mornings. My name is Kojo, and I have Simone Uncle on the other side of the radio. Our special guest is Janice B. Gordon. For those who want to get in touch with Janice B. Gordon, you go to janicebgordon.com and get to know everything about her. Janice has been sharing with us about personality. She shares with us with purpose. And Janice will be going into pleasure. Talk to us about pleasure. How does pleasure come into this whole process?
This was from when I worked with a customer experience consultancy, and I really understood that customers are your best innovators and creators. But in order to bring them close, you've really got to serve them well and understand, that your customer behavior. And the way to do that is to ask them. I often go to companies, whether large or small companies, and asking them about their customers and then saying, well, how do you know that? Have you checked that? Is that true? And I'll say, when was the last time you spoke to, your top 10 customers? And they'll say, well, yes, because they want to sell them something. No, I'm talking about really spoke to them and listened to them and, had a series of questions. So getting feedback from your top 10 customers, your tribe, your core group of people is absolutely critical. And it's crazy that smaller businesses don't do this. I mean, larger businesses, they have the Net Promoter Score and all of these things, but actually talk to your people. This is your livelihood. So pleasure is about understanding the customers who you serve, their desires, their wants and their needs. How do you understand that? You talk to them. So every time you have an interaction, you design a process that enables you to get feedback, to ask them about different things and ask their opinion, because they will help you if you only ask and listen to them. So, it's really about customers understanding the language that customers use, recording the way your customers describe and say things, recording what are the suggestions that they may have, and then acting on those. And you know what? I know that owners are really afraid of asking their customers because
I was just going to ask you that question. I was just about to ask you that question.
They don't want the negative feedback.
Yes.
So they won't ask anything. They don't like complaints. Oh, I love complaints. I love complaints. When you've got someone complaining, there's no filter. They're not being nice to you. They're telling you everything. You now need to write it all down. There is no filter. So that means you can gather a lot of data from them. Now, you have got to put it right and more. Add another 10% on top, because the people that complain are complaining because they care. And so these become your advocates in business if you do it right. So you need to embrace complaints and not be afraid of it. They're not complaining about you, they're complaining about the service. Do not take it personally. Be open, realizing that these could be your advocates in your business that draw more people in. If you understand that, you will literally go at that complaint and be open to everything they say. So then you record what they say and how they say it, and you ask more targeted searching questions, so you get more ideas of other things, other benefits you can do. You then keep in contact with them. You don't hand it off, and you tell them what you're doing to put it right, and you're adding a bit more, some bonus or something on top, and saying, I'm really grateful for you to bring in this issue to me. And then maybe a month or 6 months later, you ring them up or email and say, are you satisfied with everything? Have I, put everything right? You ring them up in a year's time again. Do not lose sight of that customer. That customer becomes your advocate and can bring other 10, 20, 100 customers over their lifetime to you because you cared about what they thought. Now they become part of your tribe. What happens when you're developing a new product or service? Who's the first people you're going to contact? This person. Right? Because now they've had no filters and they can trust you. They will continue with that. These people are absolutely gold. So do not be afraid of people that are complaining. They're complaining because they care.
Janice, I love what you said. I know Simone has got something to say, but I would love you to, before you get into the process stuff of it, I'm running a business. I want to work with Janice B. Gordon. I don't have a huge budget. I have 2-3 staff. I know Janice work with big businesses. Can I use Janice B. Gordon? I'm running a business. This is just myself at the back of my garage. I'm running a business in the market, and I want to use Janice B. Gordon. Can I use Janice B. Gordon? Can I afford Janice B. Gordon? Because Janice works with huge companies. So I'm wondering, can I afford it? She's running a business himself and the husband, or herself and her partner running a small business, and they don't have a huge budget. Does Janice work with small businesses, and would you work with them? There's a question that I'm thinking is running through somebody's mind, and after answering that, you go into the process. How we work with process in the business evolution? Talk to us and please help us with a few questions that I've asked.
Yeah, I work with organisations like Enterprise Nation. I do a lot of pro bono work through those organisations because they also get support from other avenues. But, of course, I will work with a company that will pay me. Any company, large or small. At the end of the day, you know what I've discovered? When you're starting out in business and you're offering lots of people advice and support and whatever, the 99% of the time they don't do anything about it. When they pay you, then they're going to do something about it. So I'm really kind of, I will do pro bono work through various other organisations where they get support. But approaching me directly, you need to pay me, because I know when you pay me, you're going to do the work because you want to see a return on your investment. Of course. But I work with larger companies, and there's a certain rate and things that I do there. Working with smaller companies, of course, I will work with smaller companies, because smaller companies are the lifeblood of all business. They're 95% of all of businesses, and unless we look after the smaller businesses, they're not going to become medium businesses, and they're not going to grow, and that's going to more severely affect the economy than the larger multinational businesses that probably pay tax elsewhere. So I love my small businesses, and I want them to become medium businesses, and of course I will work with them. There's different ways of working with me, and what I often do is I will get on a call. I will have done lots of research, so they'll have to fill out a form. I'm asking various questions, and then literally this is going to be an hour or 2 hour session where we are going to be working hard through things. I've got information from you. I've done research. I'm going to give you lots of ideas. Your pen is going to be smoking with the amount of ideas and things I'm going to do, and I'm going to follow up that you've actually done them. I think my life is too short to waste time. So anyone coming up to me really thinks, oh my gosh, I've got so much to do, and she's pretty brutal, because you've got to be serious about business, and I've got lots of experience, and there's lots of things that I know, and I don't want people to waste my time. So I'm going to invest in you, but you've got to invest in your business. So I'm not the kind of coach that I call myself. I'm a mentor, because if you're coming to me, is because there's something I've got that you need. So I'm going to tell you what I think. Whereas a coach will be helping you to make your own conclusions. I think, well, if you knew what to do, you would already be doing it. The reason why you're coming to me is because you don't know what to do. So I'm going to tell you what I think you should be doing. And I'm going to follow up with you as well. I want to see that you grow, and I want to see you making, a difference to your customers.
Thank you. Thank you so very much. I tell you something that somebody wrote about you. He said, this book, Business Evolution, this book captures the essence that business growth comes along with personal development, and Janice has painted a rich canvas from her own business adventures to show her ability as a mentor and as a coach. This book is woven around the 4P models, and at the center shows, what does it say? He said it shows, he said at the center is the focus on customer relationships and alignment of their needs to grow the business. Reading this book is like having a fireside conversation that actually packs you up with your best mate. Talk to me about the process and what goes into the process as we begin to seg our way into the finality of our conversation.
Yes, process positions your customer at the center of your business. They've got to have a seat at the table, because I know running a business, you've got the staff, you've got the payroll, you've got PAYE, you've got corporation tax, you've got VAT, you've got, supplies and suppliers and, customers. There's so much going on. It's so easy to lose sight of the customer being central to your business. And in process, it constantly keeps customer center of your business. So, what processes is giving your customers what they want, how they want it, when they want it. And I often have people that push back and say, well, how can I do that? It's a goal that you're trying to achieve. The only way you can do that if you're really close to your customer, you're constantly getting feedback and asking them what they want. You're asking them, are you happy with what you've got? So you know that you've delivered what they want, how they want it, when they want it. Unless you're constantly asking them for feedback, then you won't really know if you're hitting those targets, giving your customers what they want, when they want it, how they want it. So that's what you have to remember about process. So then once you understand what they want and how they want it, then you've got to look at all of the processes to deliver that. You know, how does the customer come to you? What do you do next? How do they receive the product? What is the follow-up after they've received the product or service? So let me give you an example.
Please
imagine you've got a plumber. So a plumber comes to your house and, you know, something's broken down and there's some major work, pulling up pipes, then maybe the radiators, they're replacing those or so forth. So you've got one plumber that it leaves a mess behind. Remember, he's doing a whole week's job. Now, he knows how many people live in the family, how many kids they are, what the timings are, because he's doing this major work. So he understands what your lifestyle is like. He probably now knows what kind of jobs that you do from the conversations, you know. So he's got a very clear idea of that family dynamic by just working in that family unit. So you've got one plumber that, you know, gets paid and goes away. You've got another plumber that will, on his last day, everyone's out of the house and then they come back in and they find there's a little fruit basket, or he knows that family eats a lot of fruit because he's seen it, or there is chocolate or something. He knows what kind of family this is, because he's seen all of those things around, and it's quite a surprise. So with the bill is this gift that he knows that family will like and enjoy. It may be, you know, breakfast of croissants for the next day or something like that. It's got to be something that family will enjoy, but it's easy to identify it because you're in their home all the time.
Yes.
And so which plumber is going to get a lot of referrals?
The second.
The second one that adds value and benefits to
exactly.
the service.
Exactly. How much does that cost the plumber? £10. How many customers will he get from that? Who knows? That's going to be worth way more than, you know, a profit of £10. So, you know, it's really, it's not only doing a good job, but it's also going that little bit further in understanding the people you work for, what will please them, so that they then refer more people onto you. So, you know, it's understanding what you do that will give the customer what they want when they want it, but a little bit more on top of that.
I like that. I like that.
So you speak of learning about our customers. So earlier you spoke about asking and listening to the answers, and also, as you just demonstrated, observing, because sometimes through observing we will learn a little bit extra than what they might tell you. And through observing where there might be a little niche or where you can actually add value, that also enhances the customer relationship.
Absolutely, Simone. Yes, absolutely. But you've got it. There's no point doing the extra if it's difficult to work with you. You know, so the processes that you have, that's why you know, how does a customer come to you? You know, when they're with you, what, you know, how do you give the invoice? What does that look like? Is it better to do it on WhatsApp? Is that, you know, what the platform they use, or email, or, you know, print it out? All of the processes, you've got to have a variety of processes so you can pick the one that's best for that particular customer. And how do you know? You ask them, would you prefer me to email it, WhatsApp it to you? How would you like me to send this to you? And because you have the processes all set up, it's easy for you to do it. But actually, it makes it easier for the customer as well. So you've got to understand the journey the customer comes on and all the different processes that you need in place to make it easy for them, but also easy for you to deliver it consistently. That's the thing. Can you do it consistently? And then you can do the bit on top.
You know, we're talking and talking and talking. I need to tell listeners where they can go get this book. You go on Amazon, You get into Amazon and you type in business evolution, or you type in Janice B. Gordon. You can see Janice B. Gordon's name on the screen. Janice B. Gordon, get into Amazon and you get this book. I am going to get one. I am going to get one today. The 21st of May, 2021. So, Janice, when you hear any click on Amazon, it's me. And I'm going to get one. I'm going to get one. I love what you do. I love what you do. Right? And I tell you this. I tell everybody, I am waving a flag at you and I admire your work. I have to put it on record. I love your work. And I listen to all your podcasts. I listen to almost all your YouTube stuff. Talk to me about your YouTube stuff as we sign off. Talk to us about your YouTube stuff and your upcoming events. You have another podcast thing being launched or some YouTube thing launched today, isn't it?
Yes, I have. One of my brands is Scale Your Sales. So you have Scale Your Sales framework and podcast. You will find that on all of the podcast platforms, but I also record it video. So if you just put in Janice B. Gordon, you'll find everything, or Scale Yourself, you'll find everything, how to contact me. So please do, listen, subscribe every week. I publish the podcast on my website, Scale Yourselves as well. There's lots of free content, blogs and downloads and everything like that. But do you know what? I'm going to offer your listeners a signed copy. So you may get this one, Kojo, so buy it, but you might get a signed one if it works so much more.
I'm going to do that. I'm going to do that.
Copy
I'm going to do that. I'm going to do that. Janice, listen, it's been wonderful. It's been fantastic. It's been such a joy.
The book, put in Fantastic Radio, Janice B. Gordon, hashtag Business Evolution, LinkedIn, Instagram, Twitter, today. Do it today, and I'll announce it tomorrow.
Thank you. Thank you, Janice. Thank you so very much for your time. We've enjoyed your time. We've enjoyed your 4 Ps, and we've enjoyed everything to do with the Business Evolution book. We will go get it. For those who want to get in touch with Janice, you go to janicebgordon.com. Get every book from there. She has a podcast. She has events. She has trainings. She has stuff that you can benefit from. Janice, it's been wonderful. Simone, I have enjoyed it. Have you enjoyed it?
I've had a great time. Thank you very much for joining us, Janice.
Thank you, Simone. It's a pleasure.
Thank you so very much. Have a good day. Bye-bye for now, ladies and gentlemen. Bye-bye.
Every day is a new beginning. Take a deep breath, smile, and start again. Do have a fantastic morning. Fantastic Radio UK. Your music, your possibilities.